with your words, and you were clueless. You never pitied anyone.
You think I have no pity? Our son thinks I have no pity. That's not true, is it?
He does have pity. Your father has pity. Otto, you believe that, don't you?
And that was how you brought me up. For me, as a child, your word was indeed the law of heaven. I never forgot it. It allowed me to view the world. But before your own judgments, you failed completely. When I was a child, I saw you mostly at mealtimes. What was brought to the table had to be eaten and not discussed. Yet how did you describe our cook's food?
Animal feed from the beast. But I didn't discuss it. I just called it what it was, in all plain honesty.
And you would constantly pick fights with your children. You complained that my sister sat 10 metres from the table. See that the world was divided into 3 parts. In the first part lived the slave, me, under laws created solely for my life, but to which, without understanding why, I could never fully adjust. In the second part there was you, infinitely far from me, busy ruling, giving commands, and getting angry when they weren't obeyed. And in the third place, there was everyone else, happy and free from commands and obedience.
What slave ever lived a life like yours? Give me the last cigarette, put me against the wall, shoot me. Find a Cossack, they love killing Jews.
The impossibility of quiet conversation had a further and very natural result. I forgot speech. No word of contradiction.
You give speeches on behalf of your institute, argue with factory owners on business trips, give lectures in Prague on Jewish theatre, read your stories in public, which must be a miracle given that you can't speak. What do? Just flap your arms?
Your extremely effective and never-ending educational talk consisted of threats, abuse, irony, a mocking love, and peculiar self-pity.
If I ever see this father of yours, I'll tell him he's a swine. Lives in Prague, you say? I don't believe I've ever met him.
And you backed your derision up with threats. For example, I'll rip you apart like a fish. And it appeared that life existed through your mercy and continued as your unearned gift.
You try being your father. See what thoughts you have about yourself. Couldn't you put yourself up for adoption, even though it might do some good?
It should not be impossible to better a complete misunderstanding. Mother was endlessly kind to me. Mother served unknowingly as the beater in the hunt.
No!
Who hunted you? When?
If, due to some odd mood, your methods of education had made me rebel, Mother would by good and reasonable words keep me within your circle, out of which I may have escaped, perhaps to the advantage of us both.
Perhaps. Yes. Perhaps you should have gone to America.
Or there would be no actual reconciliation, but Mother would secretly protect me, or secretly give me something, or allow me something. And for you, again, there would be someone who was shy of the light, and deceiving, and guilty, who could only by underhand means get what he regarded was rightfully his. I would be nothing for you, and my guilt grew.
You have guilt enough for a murderer.
Calm yourself. Have a little more beer.
Now, it is true that you hit me only rarely. But a hanged man is dead when all is done. Yet if he has seen all the preparations, and the noose before his face, and then he learns of his reprieve, and he's left to lament his existence for the rest of his days. And I've thought about this many times, when in your opinion it was clear that I deserved to be thrashed. But by your mercy I escaped, and I was burdened with guilt.
So, I should apologise for not hitting you enough, and only showing what I could do. Perhaps I'm sorry.
Your words have scratched furrows in my brain. When I was 7, I had to drag a cart from village to village.
I did have to drag a cart from village to village as a boy.
We all had to sleep in one room.
One room for one family.
We were lucky when we got potatoes.
Potatoes were a luxury.
I had open wounds on my legs because I didn't have enough
Blood
clothes.
flowed all winter.
When I was a little boy, I had to go to Pishek to work in the shop.
They pissed on me in Pishek. Nevertheless, the father was, for me, always the father. What do they know of that today? What do the children know they haven't suffered? What today does a child know?
Whilst on one side you urged us forward with your examples, stories and shame, on the other you completely hindered us with all your strength. For example, when Otla went to Zarau, it should have been a blessing. She wanted to go back to the land which you came from. She wanted the same work and hardships that you experienced. She wanted nothing more than the same route to independence that made you free of your father.
Otla! And you, all you had to do was walk out of the door. You had a good job, you had money.
I tried to flee everything connected